Welcome, dear participants, in the fourth module of the third week. In this module, we would look at the significance of different finger movements. We have looked at different hand positions and gestures, but we find that it is not only the hands but also the fingers independently, as well as our thumb, even palm, are indicative of certain emotions and moods and have a significance in our interactions. In fact, Joe Navarro, who has authored a very popular book entitled What Everybody is Saying, has commented that despite having learnt language over millions of years, human brain is still hardwired to actually communicating our emotions and thoughts and sentiments with the help of our hands. And he feels that the significance which is given to hand and fingers movements in any communication is rather disproportionate. Our thumbs normally indicate superiority, and there are certain gestures which are universally popular, particularly the thumbs up gesture, even though this gesture has different interpretations in different cultures. Thumbs in general display a sense of dominance and assertiveness and sometimes aggressive and insulting attitudes. It is also interesting to note that thumb gestures are secondary gestures and they are always a part of a cluster. They are never independently read. Thumbs up gesture in most of the cultures means that the job has been completed nicely. However, the pattern in which this particular gesture is taken up and the interpretations and emphasis are also different in different cultures. In Japan, we find that the interpretation is the same. However, one has to stick the thumb up in the air with a clenched fist, whereas in most of the countries we would find that the fist is never totally clenched. The same gesture which the Japanese use to indicate that everything is good can be treated as an insulting gesture in Arabian countries. In Australia and Greece, particularly if it is thrust up as a typical hitchhiking gesture, it means an insult. Thumbs are also used to master counting, but whether this is number 1 or number 5 depends on the cultural variations where a child is learning to count. Thumbs are normally associated with the fist movements, and thumbs in fist indicates an anxiety. When thumbs has been tucked inside the fingers, it is often considered a way to find certain comfort in an otherwise anxious situation. During negotiations and sales, during our dialogues, we have to watch for this particular sign and try to somehow while away the time until the thumb moves back out of the fist so that the dialogue can move in a positive direction. Closed hands but fist with a protruding finger on the other hand shows determination and emphasis, and this iconic photograph of Winston Churchill represents similar ideas. On September 19, 1946, Winston Churchill had delivered his famous speech in Zurich, and where he had called for the creation of a United States of Europe. And here we find that his closed hands and fist with a protruding finger suggest his determination as well as a positive emphasis on the idea. Thumbs protruding from coat pocket is another very common gesture which we routinely come across in professional as well as in semi-professional gatherings. This is commonly displayed by those people who think that they are in a position to command as well as they are somehow superior to others. Sometimes we would find that people use their back pockets to show their protruding thumbs. It is as if somebody is trying to hide the dominant attitude from others. In a work environment, we would always find that it is the boss who moves around using these type of thumbs protruding from his coat pocket. If the boss is on leave, the second person in command may sometimes adopt the same gesture, however, never in the presence of the boss. Pace has commented that it is also one of the regular gestures of Prince Charles, which indicates his superior position as well as the attitude that he is in control of things. Often we come across this gesture deliberately in tramps as well as in petty villains. In these people, we find that it is a deliberate statement to underscore their significance in front of other people. Another common thumb cluster is when arms are folded but thumbs are pointing upwards. This is interpreted as a double signal. It shows a defensive as well as a negative attitude with the help of the folded arms. However, the superior attitude is revealed by the thumbs. The person normally uses this cluster to suggest that he has got a superiority attitude, but at the same time he is feeling defensive or he is trying to create a barrier between himself and others. If a person is sitting while he or she has adopted this posture, the person normally twiddles with the thumb during talks, and if a person is standing adopting this posture, the person rocks on the balls of his feet. Rubbing the thumb against the index finger or fingertips is used as a money expectancy gesture normally, as if somebody is rubbing a coin between the thumb and the fingertips. But this is a highly negative gesture because it indicates money with all its negative associations, and therefore people do not like to be associated with this gesture in a public manner. Another common gesture is what can be termed as the precision grip and its variations. As if you are holding something delicate and important between your thumb and your fingertips. You might be holding a pen or a needle or a piece of soft silk. During the dialogues, you would find that this precision gesture, particularly when the palm is facing towards ourselves, suggests accuracy, precision, as well as delicacy of the situation about which the person is talking. Normally, we find that audience and listeners understand this gesture immediately, and therefore we find that a slight variation of this precision grip has become a favorite gesture of today's political leaders. So this is an inverted OK gesture with one's palm facing outward and fingers are softly rounded. It avoids the intimidation because of the softness associated with the fingers, and therefore it is perceived as a gesture which is thoughtful, goal oriented, precise and accurate. Minor variations of the pinch or the precision grip help us to underscore the delicacy of the situation as well as the significance of the argument which we want to pass on. At the same time, if we are doing it with soft fingers, we find that it is never considered as an arrogant gesture. Another variation is the OK sign, which is made with our thumb and fingers. It is also a gesture which has got different connotations and cultural associations. In the USA, it signals that everything is okay. In Japanese culture, it means money. In France, it may mean zero. In Scandinavia and certain parts of Central Europe, it is considered as a vulgar gesture. In some countries, it is considered to be a rude gesture. In Russia, Brazil, Turkey and the Mediterranean cultures, it is considered to be an obscene gesture. So one can say that even though the hand movements and finger gestures are almost universal, the interpretations of these common gestures are cultural. In this interesting video, we find that an explanation of the meanings of hand and thumbs is given.
Hands will tell so much. If you ever see someone with their hand, with their thumb tucked in behind their fingers like this is an indicator of something going on inside. The thumb represents willpower, and when the willpower is being covered up like this, it can be an indicator that the person's feeling insecure, they're maybe afraid of what's happening next. So what I like to do is I like to just be gentle and soft, and hopefully they'll feel better about themselves.
A particular gesture which has become relatively common nowadays is known as a fist bump. It is very close to a handshake or the high five gesture. It was popularized in the 2008 presidential campaign by Barack Obama when he nonchalantly fist bumped his wife Michelle, and then it was taken up by the media, and the Huffington Post had exclaimed that Obama's fist bump rocks the nation as a headline. So you would find that the fist bump indicates a sense of equality, because in this, unlike the handshake, neither bumper has the upper hand, and therefore it has gained popularity among friends to greet each other. After Barack Obama had popularized this fist bump, media had started to trace its origins, and they felt that it had originated from the high five of the sports world. They had also noted that the Baltimore Bullets guard Fred Carter in the 1970s was perhaps an early bumper. This media clip shows certain examples of fist bumps, and it is a brief view of the hand movements of former President Barack Obama. Another common finger movement which we come across in our professional settings is the pointer, the finger pointing at certain directions. Initially, we find that the origin of this particular finger movement is innocuous, as if somebody is pointing at certain things in a distance. However, in the settings of professional communication, it is considered impolite to point at a person. It means that we are accusing the other person by pointing the finger at him or her. Sometimes we feel that people who have been deeply upset or feel excessive anger often point towards others to indicate how badly they have been hurt or insulted. However, normally it should be avoided. In some cases, we find that it is also associated with a sense of authority, when a person holding a superior position can indicate other people with a finger without associating the finger pointer with any sense of insult. However, particularly among colleagues, it is seen as a way of talking down, a deliberate insult. It is considered to be confrontational and highly offensive. So, finger pointing should be avoided. However, if because of certain constraints we have to point at certain other person, it would be still appropriate to point at a person using your complete hand instead of pointing a person using a particular finger. On the other hand, using your finger as a pointer in the air, as if you are writing something in the air, indicates a sense of confidence and authority. We often find social leaders, political leaders, and religious preachers using this particular movement in a very effective manner. In public speech situation, we also come across the palm closed finger pointed gesture. We would find that when the palm has been closed and the fingers are pointing, but the fist is also there, it is normally like a symbolic club which the speaker is using to figuratively beat the listeners. People towards whom it is aimed at feel rather fidgety and annoyed because they feel that they have been deliberately put in a subordinate position and people are taking advantage of it. Another variation is known as the finger jab, which is displayed by a stabbing forward motion, which is often pretty fierce. The feeling which the person receives is the feeling of the personal attack, and one feels threatened by it. However, if somebody has to use it deliberately as a part of one's speech, as a part of one's presentation to highlight a particular idea, for example, then it would be more appropriate to use several fingers together and bending them instead of putting it in a direct jab position. Another aspect of finger is related with the impatient or nervous drumming with the help of our fingers. Our nerve endings are densely concentrated in our fingertips, and our fingertips have evolved as tactile antenna with which we explore the material world. And therefore, whenever we feel anxious or upset, these fingertips always are simulated and we use them either to touch a surface, to get certain assurance, to caress ourselves, to console ourselves, to while away the time in a very unconscious manner. So, drumming or tapping the fingers can indicate our frustration, our boredom, and anxiety. None of these association happens to be a positive one. At the same time, you would find that if our fingers are kept busy, we are able to better concentrate on what we have to decide. On the other hand, we find that salespeople have started to use it as a strategy. The moment you come across a salesperson, you would find that they want to occupy your fingers. The fingers are never empty for a very long time if you are talking to a good salesperson. They would pass on petty objects in your hands so that you can occupy your hands and focus on what they are saying. Drumming of fingers is always a negative gesture and therefore it should be avoided in all our professional settings. Similarly, we find that when we bring our hand or our finger across our face, etc., it is always an indication of negativity, of our desire to create a barrier between us and other people, an attempt to seek some more time, an attempt to avoid a particular situation. Here I would like to refer to a research by Desmond Morris, who was the first to discover that lice cause a tingling sensation in the delicate neck and face tissues, and often we have an urge to rub or to scratch them so that we can satisfy this itching. And therefore, we find that whenever people are uncertain about what they have to say, they scratch their neck. If they are wearing a shirt, you would find that some variation of a collar pull would be there, some touching of the neck, etc., would also be there. Sometimes it can be associated with other body linguistic gestures, particularly the absence of eye contact or averted eyes, etc. If you feel that somebody is talking to you and at the same time using any variation of what is known as the collar pull, it would be a good strategy to ask the person to repeat whatever he or she has said or to clarify the point. This would cause the speaker to repeat the same idea and perhaps it would bring certain clarity in the dialogue. While delivering a lecture or during any other formal situation, this type of a gesture diminishes the positivity of the speaker's image. Similarly, we find that the neck scratch is another variation of this defensive gestures. It also signals certain uncertainty, and we can almost hear a person saying, "Oh, I am not sure whether I agree with it." Sometimes we find that verbally a person may contradict it. A person may say, "Oh, I understand very well your situation," using the neck scratch. But then we can easily understand that the person is not truthful in this statement. Sometimes our finger movements can be very revealing. For example, fingers in mouth is an unconscious attempt by the person who is finding himself under tremendous pressure to revert to the security of a childhood. Even though most hand to mouth gestures indicate some type of a deception, some type of a lying, some type of a desire to buy time or to avoid the situation, but this finger in mouth gesture is an open cry for reassurance. In this dialogue, the best strategy to remain cool and assuring towards the other person. Similarly, we find that there are certain gestures which are considered to be offensive either universally or in some particular countries only. For example, the first sign is considered to be the sign of the devil in certain segments of the societies. The second gesture, if used in Italy, is considered to be offensive, and as some researchers suggest, it can be a jailable offense also. The third gesture, which is beckoning at someone, which is considered to be an innocent and innocuous gesture in most of the cultures, is considered to be highly offensive in Philippines. This is a gesture which is reserved for dogs in the society. At the same time, we find that there are certain other common variations of finger movements. Crossed fingers indicate hope because somehow they form a rough image of the crucifix. If someone inspects the fingernails, it suggests negativity, and then we can understand it as a boredom or disinterest or lack of confidence, etc. Fluttering and drumming fingers indicate uncertainty. Fidgeting fingers also indicate boredom and tension, and these gestures should be avoided, particularly in a workplace in a formal setting. In the ensuing video, we look further at certain illustrations and associations of commonly found finger gestures.
This hand gesture is commonly known as the OK hand sign for when something is good, but in reality it has been popularized because of its more sinister understanding in esoteric circles. What is esoteric? Well, exoteric is most basic and common knowledge, the basic information that's accessible to anyone. Esoteric knowledge, on the other hand, is not widely known, and it's mostly a hidden understanding. Esoteric symbolisms and signs is what the elite use. It helps them to give messages to each other and letting people know their affiliations. If we can understand the symbolisms and what they really mean, we can better understand their satanic agenda. For instance, this OK hand sign is a satanic sign meaning 666 to show others an allegiance with Satan. This symbol here is mostly wide known as the peace sign, but sometimes people say it means V for victory. Also, it does connect to Satanism. The meaning for the Hebrew letter for V is nail. Now, nail is one of the secret titles of Satan within the Brotherhood of Satanism. Satan is letting us know this is one of his favorite signs, much like this symbol here is widely known as the peace sign. But does it really mean peace? Because if you look at this part here, it's really an upside down broken cross, which kind of looks like a crow's foot. It's the symbolism of the... Have you ever wondered why it's rude to point at somebody? Maybe it's because in ancient days this forefinger was regarded as venomous, and even in present times it's rude to point, especially with this finger. Pointing the finger away from the body is known in occult circles as the sign of faith, while pointing upwards is the sign of perseveration. The middle finger salute. Everybody knows that pointing this finger at somebody is really rude.
In brief, we can say that different types of gestures which we use to cover our mouth or face normally indicate either negativity or defense. The mouth cover is one of them, which can be done using a single finger or several fingers. Similarly, nose touch, which we can use either with the help of several quick rubs or maybe one quick, almost imperceptible rub. These indicate a desire to avoid. It may be associated with a lie, it may be associated with anger, it may be associated with feeling shamefaced in a situation, but definitely they do not communicate a positivity. In fact, nose touch is often associated with what is commonly known as the Pinocchio effect. Scientists have found out that when a person lies, certain chemicals are released and they cause the tissues inside the nose to swell. And therefore, when a person is lying or when a person is feeling tremendous stress, there is an inner urge to rub the nose. Similarly, we find that hand to face gestures are associated with evaluation. Evaluation is showed by a closed hand resting on the chin or cheek, often with the index finger pointing upwards. Similarly, when the person begins to lose interest but still wants to come across as feeling interested, then the position would alter and the person would start feeling some support on the heel of the palm. Middle managers often use this gesture or its variations to come across as people who are actually interested in listening to day-to-day talk of several employees. Similarly, we find if the hands have moved across the mouth, head is tilted backwards, then it becomes a non-verbal sign of verbal deceit, untruth or lying or deception. The hand-to-face gestures also suggest whether a person is feeling bored in a given situation or is genuinely interested in the situation. When the person feels bored, then the person uses the hand to support the head and it signals that the boredom has set in and the head is being supported so that the person does not fall down asleep. On the other hand, we find that the genuine interest is shown by a closed hand resting on the cheek, normally with the index finger pointing upwards, but the head is not exactly resting on the support of the hand. We have talked about several variations of the defensive touches in which our hand and finger moves across our face. The ear rub is also a variation of it. The ear rub is an attempt to avoid the words of the speaker. This is a sophisticated adult version of the hands over both ears gesture used by those children who are being reprimanded by some adult. Rubbing the back of the ear, pulling at the earlobe or bending the entire ear forward suggests that the person does not want to listen to what is being said and at the same time is looking for certain excuses which can be passed on. The eye rub is also our attempt to block out the deceit or doubt. Vigorously rubbing the eyes or looking away or looking at the ceiling to avoid the listener's gaze is also adopted by those people who are trying to put across a lie. So we see that in all these clusters of hand and finger movements across our face, the suggestion of negativity, barriers and defense is related. In order to find out the exact meaning, we have to rely on certain other messages by verbal as well as non-verbal communication. This is an interesting video which tells us about the possible interpretations of the eye rub.
When you were younger, did you ever cover your eyes when you saw something that you didn't like or that was disgusting or gross or scary, who knows, but you covered your eyes? Well, as it turns out, that response, that ingrained response to cover and shield your eyes from something that you don't like, sticks with you all the way through to adulthood, and it comes out in something known as the eye rub, so it's a little bit more diluted than the full-out covering of your eyes. Now, when somebody is lying to you, their natural response is to cover their eyes to something that they don't like, so say they're lying to a person, they don't want to look at that person as they're lying to them because it feels bad and it feels gross looks and it feels wrong. So they do something known as the eye rub. This comes across in guys a little bit more prominently than in girls. So guys will do a full-on eye rub, whereas gals might do something to where they lightly touch underneath their eye or something like that. Now, this could be for different reasons. Either one, it's been oddly ingrained in the culture that ladies are supposed to react a lot more subdued to stuff, or it could be something just so logical as they don't want to smudge their makeup or something along the lines of that. But the eye rub is yet another sign of deceit that you can look out for. Now, once again, make sure you keep in mind that you're supposed to observe in.
I would conclude my discussion of hands and fingers here. In the next module, I would take up the movement of the feet and sitting postures. Thank you.